Answer on the top bonus should be 36. We didn't have time to get to this one. The answer to the top one is 27 and the second one is 16. On the top, you should have 3 minus 1 to get 2. Square the 2 to get 4, and multiply 4 by this 4 to get 16. 5 times 2 is 10, so you add 10 to 16 to get 26, and then subtract 1 to get 25. Now the second one, 16 divided by 8 is 2. Times 2 is 4. So just hold that number. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Times 3 is 6. So you have 4 plus 6, which is 10. And this one, 3 times 6 is 18. Minus 5 should be 13. Now this one should be 3. You should get a 3 from this part and square it to get a 9. And then 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 8. And then minus 3. You should get 32. Always do this first, square it, then multiply. And then you have this addition here, so you have to do this first and then go in order and come up with 32. On the top one, that's 4, and then you square it to get 16. That's 4. Square this to get 16, and then multiply by 2 to get 32. And then you'll add whatever 9 divided by 3 is, which is 3, and then subtract 1. Should get 34. On the second one, you need to do 3 times 3 and 4 times 2. That's a 9 and an 8. And then go in order from left to right. 3 plus 9 is 12. Plus 8 is 20, minus 3 is 17. And on the bottom, that's 30. Divide by 10 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Pick a number from 1 to 5 and drop it off up here with your last name. Today's objective is to multiply mixed numbers. And if we get to it, dividing by decimals. Example 1. 3 1/2 times 2 1/3. Do you remember what we have to do to each of these mixed numbers first? 3 times 2, 6. And then how do we write it? 7 over 2, yes. 2 times 3, and then plus 1 is 7. So what about the next one? 7 over 3. 3 times 2, plus 1 is 7. Put it over 3. Now what do I do? That's only for addition and subtraction. What do we do to multiply these two fractions?
No.
Not cross multiply.
Is it side?
Side to side, yeah. 7 times 7 is 49, and 2 times 3 is 6. Now what do we do to simplify the answer?
Go down to the lowest number out of
See
the-
what number it got even?
You could, but even before that, we have to change it back into a what?
I know.
Mixed number. We got to change it into a mixed number. So how do I change 49 over 6 into a mixed number? Divide 49 by 6. In other words, how many times does 6 go into 49 without going over? 7 times 6 is 42. Can I get another 6 out of that? Down here.
48.
Yeah, 7 times 6 is 42, but if I add another 8, not another 8, but another 6 to that, I get 48. So 6 will go into 49 how many times? 8, yes. 6 times 8 is what?
38. 40.
48, yeah. So if I have 48, how many do I have left over? 1. So I put the 1 over what? Not 8. 6, yes. So my answer is 8 1/6. Here's a review. You change these to mixed or improper fractions. 2 times 3 plus 1 is 7. Put it over the 2. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Put it over the 3. Multiply straight across to get 49 over 6. Divide 49 by 6. How many times will 6 go into 49 without going over?
8.
8 times. And then how many are left over? 1. And you put it over this number. Example 2. This one is 1 1/5 times 2 2/3. What do I do first?
7. 7 over 5.
7 over 5? What's 5 times 1?
Oh, times. 5.
5. Then plus 1 would be 6. So we go 6 over 5. Now what about the second one? 8. 8 over 3. Now what should I do? Yeah, we multiply straight across.
It'll be 48 over 15.
Yes. We multiply straight across. 6 times 8 is 48. And 5 times 3 is 15. Now what do I do? See how many times 15 will go into 48. So we didn't go up to 15 on the times table. I think we went to 14. But the multiples of 15 are 15, 30, and 45. So how many times will 15 go into 48 without going over?
3 times.
3 times, yeah. Well, if it goes in 3 times, how many are left over?
3
3, yeah, because we have 45.
over 15.
So it would be 3 left over. That's over 15. Is there something about this answer that we need to fix before we circle it? You notice anything different about 3 3/15? Yeah, you can reduce it. 3 will go into itself how many times? And how many times into 15? 5 times. So your answer should be 3 1/5. On the practice problem, change this and this to improper fractions. 6 times 1 plus 5 is 11. Put it over 6. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Put it over 4. Multiply straight across to get 99 over 24. you can reduce 99 over 24 to 33 over 8. Both are divisible by 3. The sum of the digits is divisible by 3, and here as well. So they're both divisible by 3. Now change this to a mixed number. 8 goes into 33 4 times with 1 left over. You put it over 8. 4 1/8. This one is 2 1/4 times 1 1/3. The mixed numbers on these should be 9 over 4 and 4 over 3. So when you multiplied straight across, you came up with 36 over 12. Is that right? Okay. So once you get 36 over 12, you have to do one of two things. One, you can recognize that 12 goes into 36 3 times, and then that would be your answer. Or you could chop 36 over 12 down by 2. They're both even numbers. What's 36 divided by 2? Think of it like this. How many times does 2 go into 3? 2 into 3? One time, yeah, that's right. So if I go 2 into 3 one time, how many's left over? 1. So let's make that 1 up against that 6 there and make it 16. What's 16 divided by 2? 2 into 16. It's on the times table. If you look at the second row, 8 is right, yeah. So now what about 12 on the bottom? If I chop 12 in half, what do I have? 6, yeah. Now I'm still not finished because both of those are even numbers. What's 18 divided by 2? Yeah. 18 divided by 2. Right? 9. What's 6 divided by 2? 6 divided by 2. 3. Now neither one of those are even, but 9 over 3 can still be reduced because what number goes into both of those? 3. No, it wouldn't be a 4, it would be a 3 because we divided 6 by 2. We did not subtract 2 from 6, we divided 6 by 2. So we ended up with 9 over 3, and 3 goes into both of those. How many times does 9 go, or not 9, how many times does 3 go into 9? 3 times. How many times does 3 go into itself? Once. So there we're at 3 over 1. You never write anything over a 1. So you're just left with 3. What we're going to have to practice is something like this. 12 divided into 30. We're going to have to practice some division. Long division. On this problem, 12 cannot divide into 3. So if it can't divide into 3, what should I try to divide it into next? What should I try to divide it into? You got to go one number over. So instead of dividing it into 3, I'm now dividing it into what? Not 40. Not 4.
5.
No, we have these two numbers here. What do those two numbers make?
30.
30, yeah, that's what we're going to have to divide it into. 12 into 30. Now, if you don't know how many times 12 goes into 30 without going over, you start with 1 and just write 12, because you know 12 times 1 is going to be 12. To come up with the second one, just add 12 to the one above it. What is 12 plus 12? 24 is right. If I wanted the third one, I add another 12. What's 12 plus 24? Not 48. 36 is right. So how many times would 12 go into 30 without going over? 3 times is 36. Did we go over the 30? So how many times would 12 go into 30? Twice. You would put your 2 there. This is where the decimal point is at. What is 2 times 12? 24. There it is, right there. Okay, so we have to subtract. What is 30 minus 24? 6 is right. Now, I have a 6 there. 12 isn't going to go into 6, but I have to drop this 0. I now have what number here? 60. So I have to figure out how many times 12 will go into 60. Now, Shope says 5. Alright, but we're going to show everybody else. Remember, we left off at 3. 3 12s is 36. So if I wanted another 12 in there to come up with 4, 36 plus 12 is 48. If I add another 12 to that, I get 60, and that means 5 12s would be 60. And when I subtract that, there's nothing left over. So my answer would be 2.5. 30 divided by 12 is 2.5. So I have 8 and 90. Now 8 is in your times table. So in your times table, how many times would 8 go into 90 without going over? 11 times is right. It would go in 11 times. So you would write 11 like that. What's 11 times 8? 88. If I subtract 88 from 90, how many's left over? 2. Just be 2. Because we have really a 10 there. 10 minus 8 is 2, and you have to knock 1 away from the 9. So it's just 2.
I thought it was 2, but I forgot to knock away the 1. I thought it was 9 minus 8.
Well, we got to drop this 0, and that's going to give us a 20. How many times will 8 go into 20?
2.
2 times is right. What is 2 times 8? 16. What is 20 minus 16? 4. And I drop a 0. How many times will 8 go into 40?
32, which is 4.
6
Well, look at your 8th row on your times table, and then
4.
4 would be how many? What's 8 times 4 going to give me?
8 times 5.
8 times 4 is
32.
No.
It'd be 8 times 5.
8 times 5 is right. So you'd put 5 there. 8 times 5 is 40, and subtract, and you have nothing left. So this would be your final answer. What's my first move in doing this subtraction? Shope.
You gotta take 1 away from the 7 make 13 minus 6.
That's right, because we don't have enough here to do subtraction on the right. You have to borrow 1 from the 7, make it a 6, and then add it over here and make that a 13. So what's 13 minus 6? 7. Now let's go back over here. I have 6 minus 9. That's not going to help us out. So what do we need to do?
Take away 1 from the 6 and make 16.
Yeah, take away 1 from the 6 and make that a 5, and then put that 1 there and make a 16. What? 16 minus 9 is 7. Yeah, now I have a 5 minus 4, which is 177. Bring this problem up and drop it off. 819 minus 532. On this problem, you can do 9 minus 2 to get 7, because 9 is larger than 2. But if you go over to this one, it's 1 minus 3. You can't do that. So borrow 1 from the 8, make it a 7, and put that 1 there to make 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. And then you have 7 minus 5, which is 2. Bring this problem up. Three minus 2 is 1. There's no need to borrow anything. But 3 minus 9, we can't do that. We have to borrow 1 from the 6, make it 5. Put that 1 there and make it 13. 13 minus 9 is what? 4. And then you'll do 5 minus 4 to get 1. 141 should be the answer.